Congressman Brian Babin, thank you so much for joining us.
Great to be with you as always, Steve.
Absolutely. Congressman, H.R. 1, the energy bill here, this was a huge priority for Republicans, and you guys have been able to get this done. I guess, first of all, if you could just let us know, why was this so important?
Well, we have to end Biden's war. President Biden's had a virtual war on oil and gas and fossil fuels, and we've got to restore our energy independence. And being from the great state of Texas, where we produce more than anybody else in the country, it's just critical for our economy, for our livelihoods, and quite frankly, for our national security. We just have to do it.
So, Congressman, does this have any momentum, do you think, in the Senate? And if it passes, do you think ultimately President Biden will sign it into law?
Well, it's going to put Biden on a very warm seat. I'm hoping that our senators can really get some common sense over there and get a little consensus and have a little bipartisan activity like it looks like we're seeing on the House side. But I think that Americans are paying still 40% more at the pump since Joe Biden took office, 26 months ago. And the American people are ready for relief. And so I think Mr. Biden better look like really giving this some serious consideration to sign this bill.
So, Congressman, if you could unpack this bill a little bit for us, will Americans see relief in their energy bills and at the pump, or does it go beyond just that?
It goes beyond. As far as just the lower energy costs, it's going to be increasing domestic energy production. As I said, it's going to reform the permitting process for all of the industries. And permitting has been one way the Biden administration has been able to cut this off, It's going to reverse the anti-energy policies that the administration has shown. From day one, he's declared war on energy. It's going to streamline energy infrastructure and exporting, and it's going to boost production and the processing of critical minerals. And I would like to add that critical minerals is something that a lot of folks don't realize. Let's just build all these electric vehicles and 500,000 EV, charging stations. But what they don't realize is that China controls 90%, that's 90% of the world's critical minerals. And we've seen a really steep decline in our production and our handling of these types of critical minerals. In 2019, for example, the United States was import reliant for 31 out of 35 critical minerals and had no domestic production for 14 of those minerals. And today, we're dependent on communist China for more than 50% of our total supply for 25 different minerals. And H.R. 1 is going to produce the production and the processing of these critical minerals. And whether we're talking about, Steve, whether we're talking about EVs, electric vehicles, wind turbines, electronics, lasers, medical supplies, military needs, all these are essential for a non-fossil fuel energy grid and for our national security and economic development. Could not be more important. If you want to know some other things too, it's going to also express a strong disapproval for Joe Biden's canceling of the Keystone XL pipeline, which he did on day one of his administration back in January 2 years ago. And shutting down a project that really was going to provide approximately 11,000 American jobs. So we're going to push back. That's what it's all about.
Congressman, if I could just switch gears a little bit here and get your thoughts as co-chair of the Border Caucus. If you could just kind of let us know right now where things stand and some of the most pressing issues at the southern border as we speak.
The southern border, and now more and more so the northern border, has become a disaster. It's not just a crisis, this is a disaster. We've got adversaries coming across, millions and millions of people coming from over 100 different countries. We've had a 900% increase in Chinese nationals illegally crossing our southern border. They're crossing the northern border as well. In the first 5 months of this fiscal year, there have been 4,366 encounters with Chinese nationals at our southern border. 1,368 came across just last month.
Congressman Brian Babin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Steve. Always good to be with you.